So good evening, everybody. It looks like we've probably got a fair number on the stream. So I'll just say hello to the ones I can see, which is Lynn, Lewis, Ashleisha, Lee, and Asher. Those are the ones that have said hello, but I know we've got quite a few more watching than that. So welcome to you. Yeah, normal time, Asher. May have been some confusion with an extra stream that I did on Facebook Live last night, which wasn't specifically to do with this program, but to do with an event I'm doing in Amsterdam, or planning to do in Amsterdam, around the solstice, and that was a particular interview come discussion about self-realization in connection with that event. So I've just seen Curtis and Sandy come up as well. So hello to you and anybody else who hasn't necessarily made a comment, or if you're watching on catch up, hello to you as well. So yeah, it is the normal time. So yeah, tonight, just to say, the track that was playing there was Seeking, played by Tara Cook and recorded by her husband Ken Cook, collectively known as Omnisphere. And I'm sure I've said before, but the CDs are available if anybody wants them. Tara's on Facebook. So good, welcome everybody. I think we're good to go. Tonight's stream, whoa, something very strange has just happened to my computer there. I'm not quite sure what, there we go. Everything suddenly went very small on the screen. It was a bit bizarre. Not sure I could repeat that, how I did that. But anyway, yeah, tonight's stream is called What is Self-Realization? Really, all the streams are essentially the same subject, looked from different angles, and there's great power and use in that. It's in by looking at it from all these different angles, we can kind of sort of see a more complete picture. And this one, what I'm going to do in a few moments is actually suggest we go straight into the meditation, like I did with live stream 6 when it was a letter from God. Guide you into the silence and read out the insights. This particular piece that's been written here has come from a piece of kind of work that somebody's helping me with in terms of creating something that is a kind of a complete picture for everybody in relation to self-realization, and I'll say more about that later. And the person asked me a series of really obvious questions, which I wrote responses to, and it became clear to me that having written the response to this one, Sue and I were discussing this and we thought, yeah, should do that one. Like we did live stream 6 as a letter from God. And we've also got this very interested fly with us again tonight, so you might see that flying around at various points. So that's what I'm planning to do, and then I've got after later on, if there's any questions people want to ask, we can do that. And I've got a number of things, bits of news and opportunities to share with you. So yeah, let's get stuck in. There's quite a few more people come on whilst I've been making that opening announcement. So yeah, what we're going to do is just right away get yourself nice and comfortable. This is probably a closed eye meditation, this one, because I'm going to be reading. Get yourself nice and comfortable, and simply closing your eyes just bringing your attention to your body. And as your attention gently rests there, just being open from the heart to the experience of spheres of light. The pure, universal state. I am the universal beingness. Just noticing, witnessing this energy of spheres of light, this beingness. And as your attention rests on this, know that it is seen from the deeper essence that is infinite. Silence. So simply allowing your attention to dissolve into and as the silence, just like that sliver of ice dissolving in the ocean of water, becoming, melting into and as the silence. Just this silent stillness, resting here. In this, as this. Pure silence, knowing, trusting you are this. And continuing to rest in that, as that silence. I'll now read the piece called What is self-realization? Self-realization is the ultimate resolution of the question, who am I? The ultimate truth of who you really are. It has absolutely nothing to do with who you think and believe you are. Indeed, it is beyond and before thinking and experience as we typically know it. This self, in self-realization, is not a deeper understanding of a personal identity. It is, in truth, the complete dissolution of the identification, attachment, and belief in that ego self. It is in this dissolution or annihilation that the nature of the true self is realized. It is simply this awareness. This awareness is not an awareness of things. It is awareness of the self as the self, or equally, a knowing of this. Hence, a realization or remembering of what has always and always will be the truth of us all. It is a shared union, communion, or oneness that is beyond the descriptive power of words. The words can only signpost it. This awareness is permanent, that is eternal, unchanging, perfect, whole, untouched and unseen in the normal way of seeing with our eyes. It is infinite silence. These latter two words were selected by it to refer to it, and within them is encoded the signature of the silence, the awareness. It is only recognized by itself as itself. This mind cannot understand, but heart already knows. This non-personal self is energy aware of itself, and it is this that you are. It is the very source and power of the universe. It is the source of being, which is akin to its firstborn, and the physical domain is birthed from this. These three together, infinite silence, which is awareness, beingness, the universal, non-personal I am, and form are the triality of consciousness, sometimes referred to as the three in one. Not separate, but one unified whole. This awareness is simply that awareness, before experience or phenomena. Within this self-aware energy, being and form, together with space and time, are birthed, bringing the possibility of experience. Like there can be no sound without silence. It is like an infinite vibration that contracts to various lower vibrations to create contrast and thus experience itself. For without the appearance of contrast, there can be no experience. The Buddha is frequently quoted as having said, "Life is suffering." What he meant by this is life in the ego-identified form. The more one is identified with this infinitesimally small identity, suffering is inevitable. The reason for this is simplicity itself. The world of form is subject to constant change, and this ego self does not like one bit. Our key function is for it to try to preserve its identity, and this it will ultimately fail at, and suffering ensues. Ego constantly has to painfully shapeshift to adapt. Infinite silence is life in its unchanging and perfect essence or isness, unchanging completeness. This is who you truly are. All of us truly are. As this is realized, suffering ends. This is the much spoken of liberation, the end of a personal identity and the remembering of truth. No belief necessary, for since it is permanent and infinite, you must, by definition, be one with this already. Since the infinite is an indivisible whole, you cannot fail to be this. This is why the physical domain is often referred to as illusory, like a grand play of consciousness, or like the holodeck on Star Trek. It looks and feels very real. However, it is all enfolded within the infinite. And like all holograms, no matter how small a segment is viewed, it contains all of the information of the whole. This is its beauty, its gift to itself, as itself, experiencing itself. So why are you here on this earth? To realize this experientially, to serve as living silence, living awareness in a unique way. Make this your top priority and it will emerge. What is the point of life? You are. So just continuing to rest in and as this ocean of silence. In silence, you will realize your truth. In truth, you will realize you are silence. The very isness of the universe itself. Simply here, now. Nothing less than this. Nothing more. Just this. Infinite silence. Here it is. Here the true you is. This. Now. For all of eternity. And just continuing to rest in and as the silence. I'll just play the harp for a few minutes. and continuing to rest in that, as that infinite silence. I will ring the singing bowl 3 times. Good. And if you haven't already done so, just gently feeling into the body, the chair you're sitting in, or floor you're lying on, or whatever. Just keeping the attention rested in and as the silence, knowing always you are this, always this. And if you haven't already done so, you might wish to open your eyes. Good. Good. So whilst everybody's just coming to, feel free to ask any questions or share any comments on the pop-up there. That track that we played was a special little treat. Don't use it very often, reserved for special occasions. That one was Heart's Song, also by Tara and Ken, and that is their signature piece. And tends to reserve that one for special occasions, just like this reading of what is self-realization. So you don't get to hear that one all the time. So thanks to Tara and Ken for that. A few more hellos. I saw various other people pop up. That's Curtis, Sandy, Tracy, Simon, David. I think I haven't already said hello to. Whilst everybody's still marinating in the silence, just to share a few things with you. Do type up any questions or comments. What's Lois saying? Right, okay. You listen on holiday, Lois. Enjoy that. Yeah. So last night, some of you may have been surprised, but there was a Facebook Live interview come discussion, which was triggered by an opportunity to go to Amsterdam, to Sif Rayla's place, home of Gaia. Sif I met in Iceland and went to Amsterdam 2-3 years ago now, going back for the solstice, and the idea was that we would have this live discussion interview. If you haven't seen it, it's quite long, 1 hour and 3/4, but actually it was really good fun. We had a good laugh, and I know some of you were listening, and it explores many facets of self-realization, but also Siv asked quite a lot of quite a lot of questions about how things had transpired here on my journey. So if you're interested in that, do have a look either on my Facebook page or personal Facebook timeline. I'm going to try and download it and put it on as a YouTube video as well. Did attempt to do that earlier, but for some reason, because I think probably because it's quite a large file, it wasn't keen on downloading, so I'll have a go at that another time. So that was last night, and we're probably going to do another one of those, by the way, in about a week's time, in the build up to the event in Amsterdam. So we'll announce that on Facebook. It'll be a Facebook Live again that will appear on my timeline and a few other places at once. And actually, one thing that's really useful that you can do on Facebook that you can't do on YouTube so easily. People, if you're watching, you can click a button to say host a watch party, and that means basically all of your friends can watch as well, and it reaches more people. So look out for that one. Be sometime next week, I'm guessing, or sometime in the next week or 2 weeks. If you want to join in on that one, it'll be further exploration of self-realization. So that's what that was. So do have a look out of that if you haven't seen it already and you feel called. Actually, that's been the second interview come discussion I've had in the last 2 weeks. I can't remember if I mentioned last time, but some time ago I'd been asked to do an interview, and that was with a group of people that call themselves Alkalize to Realize. And that was a really, really nice interview as well, about an hour and a quarter. I have the file for that one and will publish it soon. That will also be publicised to their audience. The reason they don't publicise it straight away, they've got quite a backlog, but they've also, because they were so taken by that particular interview, they want to coincide its release with the release of the forthcoming new 4-page website, which is getting closer, folks. So look out for news on that one as well. So another about hour and a quarter long interview, that one. Oh, thank you for that, Sandy. Yeah, wonderful sharing last night. Yeah, it was a real joy to have that in a kind of different format to the way that we do these. So yeah, I'm glad that you and Lynn enjoyed it. What's David saying here? I wonder. Okay, nice question. I wonder why silence would create a context where self-realization appears to be infrequent and not apparently straightforward. Okay, so there's quite a bit in there, David. The thing to understand, the fundamental thing to understand is that we're already this, and you're never not it. Never not it. So all this play of consciousness is the game, is like the game of life. But it's never not this realized essence. So it's like it comes to or chooses to experience itself, and it's in the belief in the experience that the apparent, and it is only apparent, by the way, block to the realization is here. But one is always still this. It creates the appearance of choice and choosing until one takes the, if you like, a conscious awareness, a conscious choice to open to that which is already here. But it's never not here. It's never not here. And it's like the silence chooses to experience itself in all variety, and it has no judgment about any of it. It's only the ego mind that places conditions or judgments, or say this is better, that is worse, and so forth. But really, there is no difference between the one in whom the realization has flowered. It is not a personal thing anyway, and the one in whom it appears it hasn't. As far as the silence is concerned, there's no difference. That's why I said last week spiritual development is not possible. Self-realization is natural. And that final bit of the sentence, not apparently straightforward, or apparently not straightforward, this is only coming from mind. There could be nothing simpler than self-realization, and the reason it is so simple is because one is already it. It's only in ego mind going off on one that it makes it complicated. Couldn't be simpler. Doesn't get any simpler than one is already this. And it's only one's belief that you're not that creates the experience of not being that. It's sometimes referred to as the cosmic joke. It may not appear funny when you're in the midst of the drama, but as it's realized, then you see a whole new perspective. I'm really glad that hits home for you, David. It's a good question. So thank you for asking that. Good. And the reason this hits home is we know this. We know this because we are this. All these insights, inspirations are really coming up from that which we already are. So yeah, the cosmic joke. So where was I in sharing? So I talked about the interviews. So there's another one I'll publish size soon, from the Alkalize to Realize one, when the new website's ready. I have an opportunity come kind of favor to ask, if you like. In the work I'm getting some help with in structuring all of the vast amount of material that I share in an open source and free way with the world. One of the things that's been in my consciousness for a while and has been raised by the person helping me is to actually transcribe the videos, the live streams. When you watch a YouTube video, many YouTube videos, you can get subtitles at the bottom. And it's surprising how useful that is for people, especially if it's different languages and so forth. Sometimes people watch that and just simply watch the subtitles rather than hearing the words, especially if you're in a public environment. There is a feature on YouTube that kind of does that automatically, but the quality of the transcription is variable. It doesn't always pick up the words exactly. And a while back, I recall hearing somebody who had many videos on, and the people that were kind of listening to them, some of them had chosen to do transcriptions. You can do this. And what they said was actually doing the transcription, typing out the text as it was heard, that made them to really, really listen to what was being said. And even more so, apparently, if they were translating it into another language. So here's an opportunity, an invitation for some volunteers. It is only voluntary, I'm afraid, for people who might want to have a go at doing a transcription of a live stream or two, or whatever. If there's any volunteers for that, I have one already from earlier. Somebody I mentioned it to earlier today who does done some of this already. It's a fairly simple process, but if you're interested in doing that and having a go at that, and being allocated a particular stream to to do to have a go at transcription, then do let me know. You don't need to let me know on here unless you particularly want to, and I'll note down the names. You could message me on Facebook or email. But if there's any volunteers to do that, I'd be interested to hear from you. There are some tools that makes it easier. For instance, on YouTube already, there's the text as it hears it is already there, and one way of doing it is simply to correct that. So yeah, so if anybody's interested in doing that, please do let me know. It will help reach more people. Another announcement, as part of the same work in putting all this out there, one of the things that we're going to move towards is creating a Facebook group for the community focused on infinite silence, self-realization. It will be for those really committed to this. And so there are gonna be some criteria to be part of that group. People on this stream, they're all obvious people who would be very much welcome to join that group. But there could be any people joining from other places. It will be private or closed, or whatever the official Facebook word is. But it'll be a forum in which we can share our experiences and discuss any issues and so forth. And obviously I'll provide responses and important content with that as well. So that's going to be coming reasonably soon, in the next month or two perhaps. As part of that, what we're also going to trial is for those who want to connect with a mailing list, and this will also be connected with the new 4-page site, to receive what is an 11-day self-realization program that will be based upon, but include a bit more, on a selection of the material from the streams, and the idea that you will get an email a day with a video to watch, some introduction to that, and what benefit you can get from that. And we're putting that together as an 11-day program. Currently that will be FOC as well, free charge. So that's something that's coming soon. Been going through and looking through all the material to see which would be the best 11 things to sort of put in there. It kind of gives you just over a week's worth of commitment to this. I think, yeah, so that's that, and this will all be done in parallel with the new site, and also some revamp to the main site to make all this material a pathway through it, so to speak, more clear for people. So lots and lots of things going on, so many threads at the moment, but they're all beginning to come together, and I can see it's good to have another pair of eyes helping me with this, because I'm conscious, I've been aware for some time that all these things needed doing, but there's been so many threads ongoing that actually having somebody else thinking about it whilst I'm doing other things has been really, really helpful. So, and there's an opportunity for you to get involved as well. And then the final piece of news, I haven't posted anything on Facebook for a while about the space here, the Universal Studio. That's simply because we had a few delays with the underfloor screed, but looking like probably the end of June the building works will be complete, and the garden works, which is the final piece, starts on Monday. So by the end of August we should be all done, but we may run an event at the space before the garden's complete. So yeah, an inaugural event should be coming soon. And if anybody happens to be in Amsterdam for the weekend of the summer solstice, home of Gaia. I'll be running an event there. So that's a lot of announcements. Thank you for listening to all that. If there's any questions, please do pop them up. I haven't really got any more to add or share tonight, other than should have said this tonight or today, for those of you, and I think that's quite a number of you, have been part of the 3-month meditation program. For those of you who've been part of the 3-month meditation program, tonight is the official end of it. We started 3 months ago this evening, but my encouragement to you would be to keep going. If you've managed to do every day or quite a lot of days, just keep going. Just keep going. And also, I still have probably about 2 or 3 one-to-ones available. I know there's one that I haven't done yet, or a couple I haven't done yet, because we just can't seem to coincide our diaries. But in addition to that, there's at least a couple more available for those of low or no income. So do let me know if you fit that category and would like one. And if you don't fit that category but would like one, donation is also possible. Welcome to help spread the word. I've just seen your note there, Helen. Thank you so much for that. I'm going to make a note of your email just in case I don't always see the comments afterwards. At hotmail.com. That is really appreciated. So we've got at least a couple of volunteers. I will be in touch with you about that in due course. Thank you so much for the offer. Really appreciate it. I do feel that it will be beneficial if you're kind of called to that kind of thing. I realise not everybody, is kind of suited to that, but certainly if you are, it'd be beneficial, I'm sure. So I've got a note to your email there, Helen. I've got at least one other volunteer, and there may be some others as well. We'll see. So yeah, lots going on. Nothing major for me to add. I just really wanted to do that reading tonight in that meditative space, just to sort of, because I want to be able to share that with others who are coming into or opening to self-realization, and to have that as a recorded thing. So you were the guinea pigs, folks, so I hope it worked for you. So if there's anything else you want to share, now's the time to do it. Now's the time to do it. I'll play the harp again for a little while just to see if there's anything more anybody wants to ask or share. But other than that, a fairly brief but important stream tonight. The next stream will be back to the normal schedule, 2 weeks. I know that I confused Asher in particular with doing it a week apart. So yeah, 2 weeks time, which I think, is it the 14th of June? Anyhow, whatever the Friday is in 2 weeks time, it's that one, is the next stream. So yeah, let's put the harp on. Let's see if there's any more thing anybody wants to share or ask. But other than that, the stream will be coming to a close, and I'll go back to the other harp track for now. So and I'll come back on screen if there's anything else anybody wants to share. This track is called Seeking. Just want to come back on a couple of comments there. Thank you, everybody. And I'll continue with the harp in a moment. Thank you to Dan. I've just responded on text, but also you're very, very welcome, Dan. And I really appreciated your contribution as well. Also, thank you to you, Sandy. And Lee, great to hear that you're going to be continuing. And just as a heads up, I'm hoping on one of the future streams to read some poetic words that have come from the silence that Lee has shared with me. Really beautiful, so look out for that in the future, folks. Similarly, Helen, you're really, really welcome to have joined in. You know, anybody who's open to this is welcomed with open arms, and so thank you for the offer as well to help with the transcriptions. So yeah, thank you all of you for those contributions. I'll continue with the harp. Just wanted to say that verbally rather than trying to do lots of texts and so forth. So more harp coming.